welcome back to the Mental Moms podcast. It's been about 3 months since the last time we recorded, and a lot has changed. Kat is no longer with us. She had a situation happen back in March-ish, and she just wasn't able to record, so we put a pause on the podcast. And recently she told me that she wasn't able to do the podcast at all, which is okay. We're wishing her the best in her next stage of life. We're always going to be rooting for her. But I have two new ladies with me. This is Erika
Hi.
and Mercedes.
Hey everyone.
So we have these two new ladies. We're going to introduce them to y'all. For anyone new listening that is friends with Erika or Mercedes, hi, I am Rhiannon. I'm a single mom, 28. I have two kids. If you want to go back and listen to the other episodes, you'll get a better feel for who I am. Yeah, that's basically me in the gist. Let's start with Mercedes introducing herself.
Hey everyone. So I'm Mercedes, about to be 33 in November. So shout out to Scorpio Gang. I have 3 kids, a single mom. I work. I'm a manager at a daiquiri bar. I've been selling alcohol for the last 8 to 10 years. I live in Pasadena, just city girl, just for fun. I like to go out with the kids, either it be the zoo or it could be a park, water park. I have a lot of mom friends and they have a lot of kids. So we all like to meet up, hang out. When it's just me on my time, I like to, of course, brunch, have a drink, just hang out, enjoy my day. Definitely a people person. I definitely love to meet new people. I'm very easy at breaking the ice. Let's see, what else can I say about me? I'm really short. I mean, 5'1". I love that about myself. Let's see. So just working. I have a lot of aspiring dreams, you can say. And I've had a lot of people say things like, oh, you can't do that. You're a single mom. You can never do things like that. But my view is you can do anything you want, anything you put your mind to. Nothing should ever stop you. And that's a big thing that I instill in my children. I want them to know, like, yeah, I'm a single mom and I'm doing the thing by myself and I work a lot, but I want them to see, like, but she did everything she wanted to do in her life. So that's, a main thing with me. Try to stay with positive vibes all the time, of course. So I am quick to cut people off because I don't have a very high temper for a lot of stuff. Let's see, what else can I say? That's pretty much it. If you guys ever want to come, I'm not sure we're allowed to say anything about where we work. So if you guys ever want to come and you're in Webster area, just message me. That's pretty much it. Just easy going person, down to earth. Love to have, like I said, positive vibes. I love to joke. I love to make people laugh. I'm one of those people that are like, oh, she's always, clowning on somebody. And it's like, well, it's because I like to make people laugh. It's just the vibe is so much easy going when people are laughing and smiling. So that's one major thing about me. That's pretty much
Why
it.
did you want to join the podcast?
Yes. Okay. So when you first started, I remember it was a while back. I remember it was about mental mom. It's a mental mom podcast for sorry guys, mental health awareness. And that was the main thing for me because, as a single mom, the way I was raised by a single parent, and it was my grandmother. So she was always working to provide for me. I never had that outlet of anything, how to, to talk to anybody about anything that was going on with my life. Now that I am grown and older, I found that outlet with a lot of friends, mom friends, other mom friends. So when you told me, or when I read that it was about mental health, I was just like, that's perfect. Because like I said, I was hoping to gain some friends as well. As even if you're not a single parent, I know even parents in relationships, they also have mental issues. So just being a parent in general, it's a great idea to come together, have different ideas, talk about different things, just for other people to say, hey, like I have that in common with her too. So maybe is if I can see she's doing something positive, she turned her situation to a positive situation, like I want to hear about it, I want it to inspire me. So that was a big reason. Like I said, it's an outlet for us to also talk. So maybe if I'm conflicted or confused about something, I can talk with you ladies about it, or the audience, and they can have I can get their feedback or your guys' feedback, and that would be awesome for me because I'm not just a single parent as far as the fathers are not involved. I'm a single parent as far as like I said, I was raised by my grandmother. She passed away about 3 years ago. Rest in peace. Since then, I've literally been on my own. So besides like me and my friends, my other friends, I don't really have like much other people to talk to besides my religion. Me personally, I speak to God, and that helps a lot when I pray. But yeah, I just wanted to meet y'all also because y'all sound really cool. Everybody sounds cool, so new friendships also. That's a great thing.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, the podcast, whenever I started it, it was always like just about mental health and being able to bounce off those ideas because a lot of parents are going through things, like that we don't know about. Like we tend to like push it down because we have to be strong for our kids and be the rock of the family, especially when you're a single parent because you don't have another partner there with you. But just as a parent in general, you usually have to be the strong one, and we struggle a lot with our mental health. So, yeah, but that's what it was supposed to be for. And of course, we want to bounce ideas off each other, and y'all have different perspectives, and I'm gonna have a different perspective, and it's good for the audience and for ourselves to get those like different points of views out.
Yeah, because there can be other parents as well. They don't have anyone to talk to. Like I said, like myself, and then I can, I never really been involved with a podcast before, but it's great. Like it's a good idea to, like I said, I don't have anybody else to talk to. I can talk to you ladies about stuff, so that's a great thing. Other parents might have that same thing.
I think it just women talk in general, like being in a relationship or not, or single or whatever path you're coming on, like relationship wise. I think we all have a mutual understanding at the end because men sometimes they're all the same. So I think that we could relate if we had a past relationship or whatever mom situation that would involve any mental health situation. I think from any path, the same understanding still comes, as women, because women, we need to all stand together and relate at one point. So I think this is really good. All three perspectives, and anyone can join in, three personalities and three different walks could definitely help everybody. So I think that's really great. And I think all your whole path and situation, your whole story is really amazing to hear. Like, I don't even know what to say about myself anymore. Now I forgot who I am.
No, you're good.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like yeah, I'm glad it's three different perspectives. Definitely, it's good that we all have something in common and we're able to talk about it. And feel comfortable, of course, and everything like that.
So you guys are both in Texas, right?
Yeah.
Yes, I live in Pasadena. It's like a little city right outside Houston, Texas.
Yeah, I'm in Fort Worth.
There's a city here in Pasadena and it's near LA. So when people say Pasadena, I'm in California.
Ugh.
So when I hear Pasadena, I'm like, Pasadena, like down that way. So I have a few friends that live in Pasadena, Texas.
Yes, all the way. I know it's cool to get somebody who's not from this area. Like that's awesome to get your own situation because I'm pretty sure like things are different out there versus over here as far as like being a single parent. Is it like more expensive over there? I've always heard that. So I'm asking.
Everything is more expensive out here, but it's weird. I think in each state it balances out because I think the rate ratio of the pay rate in each state would like kind of balance out the rent or whatever, but over here the the poverty is pretty bad. There's a lot of homeless, but there's a lot of apartments being built every day. So it's like crazy. Like I think it's only the strong survive here, but I think there's a lot of survivors out here. If you California is you have to make it or you break it state. So you have to really have a hustle for single moms. We get a lot of help out here state-wise. If you're a single parent and you're like EBT wig, all
Mm-hmm.
that is very much provided, and there's a lot of resources out here. But also too, a lot of women, they don't want to go that route, so they find multiple jobs, they hustle, they do whatever they can out here. So you wake up in the morning and you see everyone doing their thing. You see the little ladies on the street, you see the girls walking their kids to school. It's a big thing out here. So I think there's a lot of single women in California, and a lot of women don't like to speak on it. A lot of people, they like to show that that we can all make it. They don't like to show their
Mm-hmm.
struggles out here in California. You don't want to show your struggles, and it's hard sometimes because you can't really speak to people. um Everyone here has their, maybe in my perspective, but everyone has their circles. Everyone has their people. And if you're an outsider and you don't have a lot of friends, or you're a single mom and all your friends don't have kids, like a lot of my friends, they don't have kids. I'm like, a few of them have kids, so I have four moms, and a lot of the moms now here in California, my friends that I thought were gonna be here like forever, no, they moved like out of state. They moved 3 hours away, so it's hard out here. So it's really good to now social media, like, what a time to live, that we could actually connect on a platform on our phones and get together and find people um that we can relate to. A lot of the people that I'm inspired by, and a lot of my friends, they're not even in the state. Like right now, you guys are in Texas and I'm in California.
Yes, you gotta visit over here. You gotta come over here.
I've gone to Texas once.
I mean, I've never been to California, so I haven't really been outside of Texas. But I mean, it's decent. You can find some fun things to do. And over here, I feel like everybody has kids. I mean, in my opinion, no offense to anybody, but everybody these days, comes with kids.
A lot of my friends moved to Texas.
A lot of people are coming to Texas. I'm not happy. I'm not happy about it. It's too crowded over here. I live in like I live in a really small town. Everyone's like really sweet. That Southern hospitality is like very much alive. And I live on this little street, and all the kids are playing outside, and the parents, we all take turns watching the kids, and we have cameras, and like one mom across the street hosts a movie night every weekend. And then another one has like a little swimming pool, and all the kids go over there. And then there's a guy down the street that does a slip and slide. And so we're like just in the street, we're just having fun, and it's so cool. Like I know all the neighbor kids, and
That sounds so 90-ish for me.
yeah,
Right. It sounds like really family-ish. Like your whole block is like a family together.
yeah.
That's sweet.
Yeah, that's nice.
So where I live is more Houston area. I don't know if y'all like familiar or have heard. It's like, I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of ghetto, but I've lived here my whole life. I'm the type to keep to myself here. In my apartments, I mean, they've been on the news like at least once a week. They're horrible, and it's for killings. And it's very, I keep my head down though. Like I keep myself inside, keep my kids inside. If I go anywhere, it's outside of the apartments. I'm never, a lot of apartments you see people just hanging out outside, barbecuing, drinking, talking to each other. I'm not like that because, of course, I'm a single mom, so I have to think about my safety as well and the safety of my kids. So, not here. But I can show y'all some fun places if y'all ever visit. That's for sure.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be really cool for us to like all like meet up in the middle and like whatever, or like go somewhere.
Right, like maybe like, that'll be so fun.
Yeah,
Road trip.
for sure. All right, Erica, tell me more about yourself.
About me, it's always funny when people ask me about me. I'm like, who am I? All right, I'm a Pisces, you guys. My name is Erika. I'm 34 years old. I live in Los Angeles, California, in a little city called Granada Hills, where they filmed, I guess, parts of ET, if you guys want to get a visual effect. So in that neighborhood. So if you guys want to kind of envision where I am, I live in that type of area. So I have two kids. I have a 9-year-old daughter and a 6-year-old son. I'm a single parent, one baby daddy. Um, I come from a single family home. I was raised completely by my mom with the help of my dad on the side, but they did not live together. They were divorced. I'm an only child. So my inner family is pretty small, but my other family is all scattered in Mexico and in parts of Washington. And that's pretty much
Oh,
my
wow.
family. So we're really small. Um, and we have a lot of friends. So I'm really close to my mom. My dad already passed away. Um, Job wise, I used to be a caregiver. Um, I got into Facebook a couple years back, and I really got into my spiritual path. I guess I had a what do they call it? A Saturn return, where I guess when you're 30 years old, like life hits you or whatever. So when I was like 25, well, yeah, it sounds like so far now. Um, I got into Facebook doing tarot card readings. So I guess I got pretty accurate. I'm pretty good on reading cards and people. So people I got a following. People asked me to make a Facebook page, to make a group. So I got a group and I made a whole following and whole little business out of that. So now I sell candles and I talk to girls on Facebook. That's what got me interested in the podcast, because I did try to do a podcast, but I kind of need it's no fun talking on a podcast by yourself, unless you're telling
Yeah.
or you're doing biography on somebody, or you're gonna explain something. But if you're gonna talk about your own mental health issues or talk about life, like no, you need a group of people to talk about that. So when I tried to do that a couple years back and it didn't work for me. And then also too, how you said you need to have a topic list and everything. So I was like, I can't do that all by myself. So I took a break from it on Anchor, and then coincidentally I started doing content creation, and I've been doing pretty good with that. And I saw your post on Toxicas, and I was like, let me try. Maybe they like me. So I'm like, all right, so we're here now. So mental wise, I've been through it. Relationship wise, mentally, my own mental health since I was a child, my own child traumas. I've been through it all, and I feel that I'm on a safe platform that I could comfortably, and I'm safe in my own skin to talk my story and reach out to people, relate to people, tap in with you guys, and just have a good time, and be in our women's skin and our femininity and learn from each other. And I think that's the best we could do, especially as single moms, that we don't have a lot of some of us can't relate to us, and we need a
Yeah.
group of people that can relate to us. And a lot of people are outsiders. Like I said, in California, everyone sticks to themselves. We don't have a block party that we can close down and the slip and slide guy. We don't have none of that. Everyone sticks to themselves, and everyone has cameras and ring cameras. Everything is surveillance out here. Everyone what grabs their kids when they go to the store. It's I want to say it's safe to an extent, and I think each city, each person knows their own safeties and their own boundaries out here. I think it's good out here, but it's rough out here. And then sometimes it's hard to connect with single moms because we're all working, we're all with the kids, we make a date and it never happens. You need to find your one mom friend to really make dates with, and it's hard. So
Yeah.
I would rather talk about it than go out and about because it's hard.
Yeah, I like that you said that you're like comfortable with yourself, because not a lot of people understand that, like you're comfortable enough with yourself and you're like happy with yourself that you're wanting to help other people to how to become that way. You know what I mean? I love that, because that's kind of where I am at life. Like it took me a long time, even how you said like turning 30, like it kind of shifted something in me too. And I'm also, I have a lot of trauma in childhood and in my past as well. And, it's really a mental battle to say that you're comfortable and know yourself, that you're comfortable enough to talk about it and try to help other women. So that's great. I love that.
I'm not always comfortable, but I'm comfortable enough. Like I've been like working through my phobias a lot, and a lot of my phobias is like speaking and like reaching out. I've gone through therapy sessions and girl group sessions where you're in a circle with girls and you have to really talk about things and oh my goodness, talk about things that make us uncomfortable. And sometimes it's hard to step out of your own self and like look at yourself in the mirror. And I fight with myself mentally every day to do it. I'm not perfect at it. I'll be in the car crying, trying to be the best I can. And it's like every day it's like I don't know, like the feeling like when you're driving on the freeway and you don't want to you're driving against that one wall. Well, in Texas you guys don't really have the walls. But I've been to Texas. You guys have those two-way roads. Like when you're riding against it, like
Hmm.
you feel like you don't want to get too close because you don't want to hit it, right?
Yeah, you don't want to sideswipe it.
You're
Yeah.
like driving and you're like, oh my god, like I don't want to hit it. That's how I feel like with myself every day, constantly. Like I don't want to mess up. I don't want to like fall down my own path. I don't want to. I Every day is a struggle. Like always have to keep myself pushing because I don't have brothers and sisters. My mom is me and my mother and I. We have a love and hate relationship. So it's like I can only take what my mother says with a grain of salt, and that's like my only like influence that I have, like backup wise, family wise, motherly wise, and sometimes her and I don't relate to things, so I'm like, who can I talk to? Who can I talk to? Who can I talk to? Therapy, you can only say so much in therapy before they consider you crazy or mentally ill or something. You can only, and then some of us are lying half of the time, not even saying the whole story, just saying half of it. You need to talk to somebody. And you're not always going to be writing things down in your diary and meditating. That's impossible with two kids. Like right now, they're
With the
all our
kids.
kids are in the background. One's right here. I'm telling her to go like this. I'm backing her up to go like I told them like 2 hours ahead since last night. We have a Zoom meeting today. I'm gonna give you everything you want. So every day is like a struggle. So I fight myself every day to try to be the best I could be. And I am I my best right now? No. Do I look like my best? Yes. Am I struggling in my head? Yes. Am I gonna do what I have to do? Most likely, yes. Not all of it, but and that's where we are right now.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to laugh. You're
No,
like,
girls,
most
laugh.
likely.
I try to make the best of any situation, and I make people laugh. And if you can all laugh at one thing, fuck it, laugh. So yeah, every day is a struggle. And I wish you were around because I probably need a daiquiri right now. I don't even know.
Yeah, I
Right.
think every mom needs a drink at the end of the day, like especially right when the kids go to sleep. Okay, it's my turn. Good night, kids. That's what I liked about the school schedule. They had to be asleep by like 8:30, 9 p.m. because they had to be up early. But now it's the summer schedule over here. So they're out for school and they go to sleep. I get home from work at 10, sometimes close to 11 because I get out at 10. And sometimes I just come home, shower, and knock out, and I'll put my alarm for like 2 in the morning, and it'll set off, and I wake up and they're still awake. I'm like, go to sleep already,
Mhm.
guys. Like, come on. So, it's crazy when they're home, but it's good to be able to spend time with them as well.
I put them in summer school, so hopefully, that'll keep the balance, because I cannot. They've been up since 7 o'clock in the morning,
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, mine too.
and I have two dogs. It's like I have four kids.
I have two dogs too. I got a this bitch right here. There's a little dog right there. And then they got a golden retriever and they're like a handful. They have like they shed everywhere. They want attention. You have to feed them. And the kids are out for
You have two
school.
big dogs?
I have two big dogs. I have two really
Oh
big dogs.
no. I mean, not no, like it's not a bad thing. I just mean I know that's a lot. I can imagine that's a lot to handle. I have a small Chewy dog, so he's not really. Yeah, he's a little Chewy. He's not really a lot. He just likes he's hyper. He gets hyper, so he gets the zoomies, and that's pretty much it. Jumping off the couch, jumping off the bed, and you hear me in the background like, "Stop, behave, sit down, like just calm down, dog." And he just gets really
Dog.
excited. So, but.
Do you dress up your Chiweenie?
No, well, to be honest, like when I first got him, I was going through something, so I kind of got him for my kids because I wanted them to have like, oh, because they knew I was sad. I lost a family member. So at that time when I first got him, they got really close with him. So my kids are really close with him, and I just like about maybe 5 or 6 months ago started getting really close with him, as well. He's turned a year this year. This month he turns a year. So I wanted to go get him like I think they have like some birthday cakes at Petco or something. So I wanted to, take him when I get paid and get him a little birthday cake. And I have, really wanted to start bonding with him more. It's just at that point in my life, it was just kind of hard for me to really feel any type of love, when you lose a family member, it's kind of like a blank feeling for a while. Oh yeah, so I don't really dress him up, but I mean that's something I want to do with him, like start bonding with him more, definitely.
I think the pets all come at a weird time in our lives. Like the last time I had a pet was when I was a teenager, and I want to say that I like took care of my pet, but like my parents took care of it. Like if I wasn't there, my dad would take care of my dog, and I didn't really pay much attention to it. I just knew I had a dog, and I had a little dog that my boyfriend gave to me. So I thought I was so cool with my little Chihuahua. And now, like that little tiny, rest in peace, he passed away. He was old, but and I told myself like, I'm not gonna have a dog for a long time. I'm like, I'm not gonna have dogs anymore. And now that I'm 34, um, my friend was having she breeds dogs, and she was asking somebody, people on Facebook if they wanted to foster a dog. So I'm like, let me give it a shot. Like, cause she has a good following. So I'm like, I'm pretty sure she has a lot of friends that she could give the dog to. And she gave the little French pit bull, the little French bulldog to me. And it came to me at a really rough time. Like I was really struggling. I was struggling mentally. I had like no like little companion or anybody to like like have with like I always had, but like I never had one like for emotional, like I needed like something because I was always by myself. I don't have a boyfriend. I don't have any relationship. I don't have a relationship with my baby daddy that I'm like, oh my god, like I don't have anything. So I have my dog. I got this dog and it came to me at the right time, or I don't know if it was a blessing or I don't know, but that's like my little friend, and take it everywhere I can, and my kids, they're like so attached to it that like I have to like it's like part of the family. It's already you can't give it away, you can't like it's there, so
And you only have that one, you said?
I have one, and then coincidentally, the same girl that gave me that one, told me like, "Are you down to work with me with the dogs?" And I'm like, sure. She's like, "I'll give you a puppy out of a litter that we make." So I'm like, I'm down, because I got this one. He was like almost a year old, but he was like straight out of the cage, like straight. He was like all traumatized, like me, like I guess we both healed each other.
Aww.
He like when I got him, like he was like didn't. She's like he's afraid to walk. He was like afraid of the grass. He never seen a flower, like he was like all like I don't know what was going on, but
It's like a brand new world for
it was
him,
like a
yeah.
brand new world, and I took care of him, and now like
Mhm.
the people don't even recognize him. Like he's all like jumping everywhere.
The vibes.
The vibes, or too stress, trauma, or whatever.
This dog behind me, I got her also. I actually found her at the parking lot of Walmart, and she was covered in oil, and she was a puppy, and like I got her, and I was also like I was diagnosed bipolar 2020, And at that time, like when I found her, I wasn't diagnosed yet, but I was really going through it. I was like really depressed, wanting to, just not be alive anymore. I got her and she was a puppy and she literally saved my life. Like literally, me and her are like this. Like I can let her off my leash. She will not leave my side. Like she's like there. If I call her, she's on me. If like she's my number one protector, she's really, really sweet. She will never hurt anyone. Like she hates my dad with a passion. She hates him so much. So much. She does not like him. Like anytime she sees him, she's just barking the whole time. But even then, she's never even hurt him. But she's like, I understand what you're
Protective.
saying. Yeah, she's very protective. But what I'm saying, like, I understand what you're saying. Like, dogs can literally save your life, like pets.
Oh yeah.
Like, they're a really big responsibility, and you have to take care of them. They're basically a child, but they can turn your life around, like 1000%.
Oh yeah, and I think also too it helps with the kids, to have a little pet around, and to grow and have like some a sense of responsibility. I know they're young, they're not always going to be taking care of the dog, but like to know that, there's a creature around that you need to be mindful of, and have respect for, and that will teach kids, and also us too as adults, we learn from the dogs sometimes. Sometimes the dogs have more loyalty and more truth than the
Other
humans.
people, yeah, for sure.
I trust my dog more than some humans. And my dog doesn't run away. This little puppy that I have, coincidentally, I got another one last week. So I'm training her. But my dog, the one that they originally had given me, he is like by my side like all the time. Like I could take him off the leash and I'll sit down and he'll sit down right next to me. He won't run around. I'll call his name. He'll be right there. And if he roams and he hears me like about to go in, he'll run from far, like where are you going? So it's good. They're better than boyfriends. I'll say that much. They don't talk back.
Yeah.
And
No.
I've had like cats before, and like cats, they're not as loving, like, they're not as cuddly. Well, in my experience, the
So
ones I've
we're
had,
all dog
they were
people.
not.
We're dog people.
Yeah,
Sorry,
my dog
audience.
definitely,
I
like,
love cats.
he wants your attention. He wants to jump up and lick you, and he wants you to pet him. Cats don't, they only, in my experience, they only wanted that when they were hungry, and that was it. They didn't want to mess with me no more. You're like, eh,
I refer people to like cats sometimes. I'm like, you're a cat. Like you as a person, you're a cat. Like you only come around
that's a
when
person.
you want something, like to people, be like, you're a cat, you're a dog, those like golden retriever friends or whatever. Like when
Yeah.
you're the cat person, you're the person that's just gonna come around when it's convenient for you, but you're like, I don't fuck with anyone.
I never thought about it like that. Cat people and dog people were dogs and they're cats. But what do
Mm.
you say like the one that has like both, like five dogs, like four cats? Like
No, I
what
mean,
is that?
no, I mean like they're like the person's personality is a cat or a dog, not like the like what they
No.
have, like you know what I'm saying, like everyone has their own
Like the way
personality.
that they act, the way the person's acting
Yeah,
like a cat. That's what she
yeah,
means. Like,
exactly.
like mysterious, like, creepy little eyes. Like,
Like are they loyal
the vibe.
if they have a dog and a cat, are they gonna be loyal but like loyally distant? Like
Like I had a best friend. I used to refer to her as a cat all the time because like I could never reach out to her, you know? Like if I reached out to her, it's like leave me the fuck alone. And then if she came to me, I just had to be like ready for her. I'm like, bro, you're a fucking cat. Like you're a cat. I don't fuck with that. I want a dog. I want someone that's gonna be loyal to me and like, you know, want to hang around me and stuff.
they're happy to see you.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, we can't call men dogs no more because dogs are better than that. Like, they're loyal, right? They're loyal. Men are not loyal. Well, not all men, but But I wanted to ask, like, so Liz, you have brothers and sisters?
I have one sister, one older sister, and we don't really talk. We're not really close. She lives like 20 minutes away from me. She doesn't have kids. Um, But
Yeah, I was asking because I see, like Erica said, she's a single child, so I was like, damn, that's different. Because I have, I think, three brothers. I say I think because we were not raised together, so like we barely bonding like the past 2 years. So I have three brothers, and then I have three sisters, one older sister and two smaller sisters. But this same, like, I don't know if it's because we're not raised together or if because they have their own lives, but we're not close either. We don't, I can't
yeah,
call my sister up and ask her like, hey, I have tried to reach out to her a bunch of times. My younger sister, she has, my nieces and nephews, and I'm the type to be like, hey, bring me the kids for the weekend. But I think because she's so close with them, she's like, no, it's okay. And it's like, well, I want to bond with them. So, but it's only so many times you can reach out before you just like, okay, well, I'm just gonna leave it alone.
yeah. That's how it is with me and my sister. Like, I love her to death and everything. We grew up together, but I think there's a lot of resentment between us. Personally, just like our relationship growing up. So, like my dad.
And your parents were raised you like together?
No, my parents are divorced. They've been divorced since I was like 3.
But that's interesting. We have three different like points of views, like, because I was raised by my grandmother because my parents like they were never together officially. So like I was raised by my dad's mom. Even to I don't talk to my mom to this day. The last time I talked to her I was 18 and here I am already gonna be 33. So and then like Erica, with you being raised by just your mom only and no siblings, like, three different types of point of view, but it's cool because I don't know about you guys, but like I've always said, like, I want to do better with my kids versus how I was raised. So as far as, like I said, I wasn't able to talk to anybody. My grandma always worked, and I think the way she was raised, she just was not raised to talk to me as far as like, things that you should talk to your daughter about, basically. So I was never taught those things. So with me and my kids, like, I talk to them. I'm like, is there anything you want to talk about? Like, my oldest son's about to turn 13, and I'm like, hey, let's keep up with hygiene. You're at the point where girls are gonna start noticing you. I don't, I need you to spray yourself, put lotion. I was never taught things like that, so I feel like that's good. And I like that we all want to do. We're closer, and we want to do better with our kids, and that's because we already said, like, we're single parents, so that's all our kids have, and we're
Yeah.
trying. And I know Erica said she tries every day, and Liz, I know you're trying as far as you're a single parent as well, and the same with me, and that's good. I like that about us three. We have a lot in common.
Mm.
Yeah, like for example, mine is like a double conundrum because my parents divorced when I was like 5. So I do remember them being together. But each time they were together, it was like I remember like bittersweet moments more than like good moments. So I remember them like arguing just to go to like have a drive to the beach. Like everything was always like, not like it was always like, they were always going at it. So I kind of saw that. And my mom, like, I want to say she came through like domestic violence with my dad. So I saw them divorced because of that. And my dad used to drink. And I remember my mom saying, like, I would tell her, like, why did you leave my dad? And she's like, oh, because he didn't want to do things for the family. He didn't want to do things like as a family. He wanted to always come home and drink at the end of the day. Like, he did everything he was supposed to do. He paid all the bills. I lived very comfortably, but he liked to drink in the night. And my mom, like, she wanted to travel. She wanted to take me places as a family. And he was never down for that. Like, he just wanted to be home. Maybe it's a Mexican man thing. My parents are both Latino Mexican.
Girl, because I was about to say that's still huge this day. Like everybody's not men only, because like women too, but everybody wants to be drunk all the time. Like
They want to come home and drink their cerveza. They want to drink their drink and be in front of the TV. And, that's cool and everything. But if you have a family and you're trying to be with somebody, it's not.
yeah, or like just do it like once in a while, or like for a celebration. Why are you doing it like every day? Like, oh, I worked hard today. I'm like, okay, that's nice. You worked hard. So did I. Even though you work outside, I work inside. You should, not be wanting to get drunk every day, because And then with that, like, do it responsibly. A lot of people don't do it responsibly. Like, they want to be drinking and in the streets, and it's like, come on, like, let's be smart
Think
about it.
all that, but when you have your family, you have to think about that. So a lot of places that my mom took me, I do wish my dad was there. I do wish,
Yeah.
I had that moment with them. And then the moments that I do have with them, I do cherish because my dad passed away already. And my
Oh,
dad, he was my best friend. My mom, she raised me really good. I lived with her. When they divorced, my mom stayed in the house and my dad moved down the street in an apartment that I could literally like walk to if I wanted to, but I never did. Like so, um, she always raised me like I stayed with her, but on the weekends I would go with my dad. And I remember like my mom doing things and my dad doing things and me having to go to my dad because my mom wasn't taking care of me, like how you said like your grandma didn't like she didn't teach you things like as a woman, like a woman should. Like I learned most of the woman stuff in the fifth grade class, the teen sex class.
yeah, same.
Parent video, that parent, the nurse comes and teaches you about your period and they give you
Yeah,
a little
same.
bag with and deodorant and stuff. That's where I got all the bases and kissing boys and stuff. I learned all about that in fifth grade. My mom never told me, oh, a boy is gonna do this or eso te va a pasar, like you're gonna get your period. Like I got my period, my mom was like, there's toilet paper in the thing, I wrap it in toilet paper. I'm like, don't I need a pad? Like she never like she didn't.
That's crazy. That's wild.
That was my dad. I told my dad and he was like, all right, let's go to the CVS. That was Save On back in the day. Save On. I don't know if they have that in Texas. Do you guys have like Hub or the Hub or well the low? Do you
And
guys have
like CVS and Walgreens and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
CVS and Walgreens. A hub over here.
Walgreens?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we have a Walgreens.
We have a Walgreens, but it's not as popular as like CVS. I don't know if you guys have CVS out there.
Yes, yes, yes.
So he's the one that like bought me my things. I told my dad, take me. I need to do stuff. I need to handle my business. Like I'm a period, and he's like, okay, well, let's go over to the CVS, and he would take me to the aisle and he would just stand there and I'd be like trying to pick what was right for me. So I learned. And then also too, when for example, I went to a friend's house for the summer. And I remember I stayed with my dad that summer. So he let me spend the weekend, which I thought was so big, at my friend's house because as Latinas, we're not allowed to spend the night at anybody's house. Get alone, you can't even go to your cousin's house and sleep over because you don't even know, you can't do none of that.
I feel like that was more back in the day though, because these days, like, not me personally, but I know other people like they let their kids go, like, with their friends to like, their houses, and I'm like, no, I can't do that. I'm like, no, be home. I tell my kids though, like, your friends can come here and it's safe because it's just me and the kids here that could come here, but you can't go nowhere. But yeah, us growing up, yeah.
I went to that house for like a sleepover and it was like a big deal for me, like for like the weekend, to my friend's house. And that weekend I got my period. And they had a big pool party and I was ready to go in the pool and the mom is like, why don't you use a tampon? And I'm like, what? Like like she's like, yeah, you just grab it. The mom, and she was Latina too, but she was like American, more Americanized, like that. And I remember my mom was like, if you put a tampon in, you're not a virgin.
That's how my mom is kind of like my mom's a lot more Americanized, but at the same time she's also like if you do that you're not really like that. That's not how that works.
You
But I was able
know,
to use
she
I
was.
was able to use tampons.
I was like 13 when that happened,
Damn.
so I was
You
like a
got your
big.
period at 13?
I had my period like at the summer of fifth grade, so I was
Okay,
like
yeah,
11th
I think I had mine same, but yeah, we were like
grade.
15. But like girls these days, they're having them like younger and younger. That's why I was like, damn, at 15. I know girls these days have them like at 10, 11.
They're different now. I saw something that they said that the biology of the human is different. Like they said
They're
that
evolving.
where's your heart? It's on the right side, and they're like, no, in the health book it says in the middle, and I'm like, no, what the hell? Like your heart's right here.
Yeah, I seen that
No,
too. Like, when
like
did that
you
change?
seen that? So
I
like
seen
maybe
it.
they're different. Maybe they're different. You know, they're
They
different.
said too that your lungs, or I don't know if it was your lungs or your kidneys, they like whatever's down here, that now it's not, it's never really been down there. It's always
It's
been
right
under your
here.
ribs.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
like, no, it
yeah.
hasn't. Because, when people would complain, I want to say maybe your kidneys, when people complain of kidney pain, it's like the lower back area. So how can it be under, like your ribs are up here? Like, that don't make sense. But yeah, I seen that too.
I wanted to say something to you about like how you said you were close to your dad and your dad was the one that was like there for you or whatever. Like I had the opposite. So my dad used to take us traveling. We always traveled and he was always the fun parent. He was never the responsible parent. And my mom was a responsible parent. Of course, we were like, oh, you have rules and stuff. How dare you put standards on me and my sister, you know? But my dad was always like the fun one. And so we would travel and stuff. And that's how I ended up getting pregnant because my dad used to let me like go. He would literally, I have daddy issues over this, okay? He would literally drop me off at guys' houses and just like, I'm 15,
Whatever.
16 years old.
Whatever.
Why,
Here you go.
why are you dropping me off at these guys' houses? What is wrong with you? And he never had those protective dad like thing. He would just like, okay, like, and then he would drop me off and then he would leave and then go get me food, me and the guy food, and then bring it back. Whereas,
Girl. No wonder you wanted to be with your dad and not your mom.
yeah, and then he would never like be like, you need to wear protection. Guys are like this, guys are pigs. Guy, he never gave me the rundown on like what guys want or like don't mess with him because guys are players or anything. He was just like, okay, whatever. Like he never like really protected me.
You would ask your dad, hey, can I go to so and so's house? And he would be like, yeah, let's go.
Yeah, literally exactly like that. He was, and it
He
wasn't just like
didn't
a
care.
one
He
time
didn't
thing. It was
ask
like
questions.
no,
Yeah,
and
he
then
didn't say,
like
what are y'all gonna do? Yeah.
no, I
Like
have a
he
worse
was
story.
like,
I have
okay.
such a horrible story. One time I was trigger warning. I was sexually assaulted by a friend and my dad had dropped me off at this guy's house, right? That happened. And then my dad picked me up and he looked at me and he could see that something was wrong. And he just asked me, hey, did this happen? And I was like, yeah. And my dad was like, okay. And then he just drove off. He just drove off like with me, but like he just like he didn't say anything to me. He didn't do anything to the dude. No cops were
I was gonna
called.
say, nothing
Like
ever happened.
no, nothing ever came of it. Like just nothing
And
happened.
after that, what, like, did he still like drop you off, or did he get a little bit more protective with you?
No, he's still like after that with different guys, like whoever I wanted to date you, and like the summer I got pregnant with my son, I was 18, and so I was 18. I'm an adult or whatever, but like you would think to still be, I'm still a teenager, I'm still young, I'm still impressionable, I'm still like stupid. You should, as a man, as a father, I feel like you should be protective of your daughter, period.
Of course, yeah.
And so when I got pregnant, like I would like literally just not come home. I would just like I'd be like I'd tell my mom I was with my dad, and then I would be with my boyfriend or my baby daddy, and I just wouldn't come home. I'd stay out all night with him. And my dad never blinked an eye, never. And then he was like shocked when I came out pregnant. It's not my fault. Like, dude, what? And it's not his fault. But like at the same time, but like you played a part in it. You let me not
Yeah.
come home.
Yeah.
You didn't reprimand me, you didn't ground me, you didn't like nothing.
Do you think that if your dad set some ground rules for you, things would have been different? Or did you want that support? Like, did you want your dad dropping you off to be like, no, no, Liz, don't do that?
I feel like at some point I was kind of like pushing it because I wanted him to like at some point be like, say something, like this is
Like
absolutely
show you some
crazy.
type of love.
Yeah. And I feel like at some point,
So you think you would do it like on purpose too, just to see if he would pay attention?
I think at some point I did start doing that, where it was just like just to test the waters, and he didn't care.
So you were reaching out for your dad and he was not even.
Yeah, and even now as an adult, like he'll meet the guys I date and stuff, and he like I had a stepdad, and my stepdad was very like, with the gun out and I'm gonna fuck you up, like, or he tried to, and my mom stopped him, but like he was trying to be that protective figure. Meanwhile, my dad, he was never just like he'll meet the guys I date and he's like, oh, okay. I have another story. Recently, like 2 years ago, he was watching my kids while I went out for my birthday, and I was dating this guy. This guy is like 20 years older than me. Not really. He's
20
like
years
13.
older than you?
He's like 13. He's 13 years older than me.
Is that what she said? I think you said 20 years old at first, and then you said older.
Yes.
I was like, girl.
No,
older.
This guy was 13 years older than me, and I was turning.
Wait, what's your age again?
I'm 28.
Got a type. I'm just
28. Okay.
I got a type. I do got a type. Anyways, that's what I'm saying. I got daddy issues. Anyways, so so my dad, like this guy, we were driving home, and this guy ended up driving on the wrong side of the street, right? So the cops pull us over, and they're like, if you can have someone come pick you up, then we'll let you go, right? So my dad comes to pick me and this guy up, and instead of being like, you need to get the fuck out of my daughter's house, like he should have been, even as a grown adult, he should have been like, you shouldn't be here. No, he let this guy sleep on my couch, and then he drove him back to his car the next morning. And this was just like dapping it up.
Like, your dad is so nice. Oh my goodness.
It was crazy with my dad because even though, okay, my mom, like how you said, the mom, she was a responsible one, paid the bills and everything. Like my parents are both Libras. So I think the signs.
Libras fuck me up.
So I'm a Pisces. So they made two Libras made a Pisces. So my mom is like strict, like she's like a judge, like boom, 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 like everything, like she's like the law, like don't mess with my mom, But my dad, he's like he was like, I remember being so scared of him, not scared, but like he was like scary to people, like people feared him, like everyone had like this respect for my dad, like Raul, he's the one, like don't mess with Raul, and I was always like his only daughter, daddy's girl. He had never had other kids, so he was always like my protector, but he was like really cool with me to an extent that he talked to me about everything. I smoked with my dad when I was able to smoke with him. I chilled with him, I drank with my dad, I was able to have like a good conversation with my dad, like later on in my adult life, and he passed away from Alzheimer's. But at the same time, I remember like being so afraid to have a boyfriend, and I had to do everything sneakily. Sneaking. I was so sneaky, and I got in trouble for it, lying and everything. And now I think about it, like I probably broke my dad's heart like a million times because he was like from the army. He went to Vietnam. He had like this whole fucking background, So it's like, how dare me get pregnant at 25? I got pregnant at 25. I was so afraid. Like, even if I
at 25, you were afraid?
I got pregnant at 25 because
I'm almost 30.
I remember when I was like young, I would see like those teenage girls pushing the baby carriages, and my dad would be like, oh, like if you do that, like you'll break my heart, Erika. Like, me vas a quebrar el corazón si haces eso. Like, I would never want to see you like that. So even when I had like a boyfriends and stuff, and I was like a little slut or doing my dumbass shit, like fucking being a whore or whatever the fuck you want to call it in my young slut days, whatever you want to call it. Even then, if I knew like, oh shit, I could get pregnant, this guy is not what it is, or I cannot get pregnant, man, I would go with my friends to Planned Parenthood and get that fucking pill. I was so afraid to get pregnant. Like, oh hell no. If my dad saw that, he'd kill me. Like, I was more afraid of my dad than getting pregnant. Like, and when I got pregnant, I was like, I was already 25. And I remember my dad, he had dementia, Alzheimer's. So I remember when he was when I was younger, he would say like, "Oh, I would like to see my grandkids if I before I
Mm,
die, my grandkids." He had like a little bucket list, you know. I want to
yeah.
see aliens. I want to see your mom get fucking screamed at. He had like a whole fucking bucket list of like what he wanted to see before he passed away, and I was able to give him his grandkids. He saw my both of my kids before he passed away, so
That's
I
good.
gave him that, you know. But the whole time, like I feared my dad and like his the loyalty from my dad. I had so much for him that I couldn't do that to him. And a lot of things I did them rebelliously. So my dad and my mom, they always try to keep me like in a straight line, but I always went wherever the hell I wanted. I think it was because they were so strict on me the whole time. They protected me so much that I just like escaped, you know, like I ran away like at 16 to be with my boyfriend that was 5 years older than me. And I was like purposely like getting in arguments with my parents just to be with like guys, you know, just to be out with my friends. And now when I think about it, I'm like, why did I do that? Why? Now as a mom, I'm like, I can't imagine my daughter doing that. I can't imagine my son. And me that I used to be like a party girl, I'm like, I could catch him slipping at any time. I know all the tricks. I know I know everything. So I'm like, now I'm scared for my kids, knowing the things that I did as a teenager.
And
It's
everything's worse now, like with technology and everything. So you got to worry about more than just, us going to other people. Like when we were younger, we'd skip school and do drugs, and we'd go home though because we were scared of our parents. These kids these days, like, no, they're out there. Like it's a lot of stuff to worry about. But so I wanted to ask you, your parents, like, were they older? Like, or can I know their ages? Because, like, your dad had Alzheimer's already. My dad's 51, I think. So I was just asking.
he got dementia, Alzheimer's, but this also has to do with mental issues because my dad, like how I mentioned, he drank. And when they say that you have depression and you drink and you go through like mental trauma, you lose your memory.
Okay, yeah, I've heard that too.
It's like given, like you can't like escape it. And then like he never took the time. He never tried to stop drinking. My dad never tried to stop drinking. He never he didn't think it was a problem because he only drank at night after work, and that was it. But it affected everything tremendously to where he was in the war, so a lot of that the the VA took care of him a lot because he was like government. He was so connected to the army. So they said that from the PTSD, trauma, depression, everything that happened in Vietnam and everything like caused an effect now. So like so when my dad got dementia, he was like 55, and he got it like heavily, like it hit him. He passed away like when he was like 63 or something. So I saw him in all the stages. At the end, I became his caregiver. So I saw my dad like from superhero to like what what like
Yeah,
you
that must be heartbreaking.
so I had to be super strong. And then I remember, I know that my relationship with my mom is like not the best, resentful. I have a resentful love and hate relationship with my mom. Like we look exactly alike. Um, she's like the older version of me that like we're like this, like half of the time. Like we're like either laughing and bumping heads and laughing and bumping heads in the same hour. So like she's like all I have now. So I try to make the best of it now. As a parent now, like back in the day, you're like, oh, I'm not gonna do this, I'm not gonna do that. When if I see my mom or my parents, I'm not gonna be like this with my kids or whatever, you know. So now that I'm in this situation, even though you could be resentful or anything, I like swallow my pride. I cry every day knowing that the relationship with my mom, not every day, but like metaphorically speaking, you know, like I hold my tongue to have a relationship with my mom, to for them to for my kids to have that bond, because my family, my grandparents, they were all in Mexico when I was young. So I never had that grandma, grandpa bond. So I'm trying to have that with my kids. So even if I don't have a good relationship with my mom, I want my mom and my kids to have a good relationship. So that's like, it's like such a struggle, because you have all you're trying to be your own mother. You're trying to cut yourself from where you came from to give your kids like a good life, and then you're still fighting your life with that you're trying to get out of. It's like hard. It's like literally like it's hard. At least
Yeah, I feel you on the part where you're like trying to make your sure your mom has the relationship with your kids, because like with me, like I said, my mom, she was not around. She did drugs back in the day, so right now she's still, I'm assuming, doing drugs. I'm not sure. But I don't talk to her, like I said, since I was 18. So my mom and my dad, they were only together for like 2 years. My mom was already pregnant when my dad got with her, and he raised her the first son, but he unfortunately passed away. And when my older brother passed away, they had just had me, but that's when they split. That's when my mom started doing drugs, and my dad, didn't really want me. So not that he didn't want me, but he couldn't really raise me as a father. And he ended up giving me to my grandma. My grandma raised me. She passed away, but now, so I didn't really have that bond with my dad. He never paid child support up until I was 18, 19. He was not involved. He went on, got remarried, had more kids, tried to live his life with them. So I'm kind of resentful for him for that, because I'm like, well, how come you can raise those kids but you couldn't be in my life? Like, I never understood that, but I don't question it. But to this day, I tell him like, hey, dad, like, I've accepted already my relationship with him as a father, but I want him to have his relationship with my grandkids. And I tell him that, and I tell him like, hey, you can have however you want with me, but if you're not gonna be a grandpa, and I mean like 100% a grandpa to your grandchildren, like if you're gonna be a half-ass grandpa, then I don't want that. I'd rather just not have that in their lives, because that's what you did with me. You were a half-ass dad. So I'm not gonna have that for my kids. So so we try. That's good that we try to have that relation, that make that bond with them. And I know our kids are gonna see it. When they get older, they're gonna see it. And yeah.
I cut out my kids' other grandparents or paternal grandparents. They were very in and out of their life. Like they would go months without seeing it. I'm just like their dad. But like I can't really stop their dad from doing that. But like I stopped them. I'm like, you can't come in and out of my kid's life. Like you don't live that far away. You can make a phone call. Like no phone calls, nothing. You can call them. You can talk to them. You can do something. You can like there's other ways you can make an effort than having to see them all the time. So I just told them like don't bother us anymore because I can't. Like it's not fair to them to be like wondering where they are, who they are. Like that's your responsibility to make a relationship with my kids. It's not mine. It's not my business. It's not my fault.
And the kids are more advanced, so they understand that. Like they get it if somebody doesn't want to be around them, like if the dad doesn't want to be around them, or the grandparents, or whatever the case is, they can feel that. And you don't want that for your kids. Of course, as a mother, you don't want your kids to feel that, because we felt that as kids, and it was. So yeah, I get that. I definitely try to have a better bond with my kids. I'm not gonna lie, like as far as raising a son, because I have two. My oldest is about to be 13 in 2 days. He turns 13, and my daughter, she's 9. And my son and my baby, he's 6. So he's a daddy's boy. So he's with his dad maybe 80% of the time. So because he's like big attached with his dad and their side of the family. But my other two, so I have 3. They all have different dads. The first 2, like they're not involved at all. So since they've been babies, like you said, we're doing our best. And not even just that, like nobody ever taught us how to like talk to our kids, what to talk about, what things we should look out for. So we're learning this on our own as single parents, and trying to make that bond with them is hard. And then raising like a raising boys is something else too, because it's definitely a different experience raising boys. It's something else because you have that in the back of your heart, like the guilt, kind of like, well, I can't teach him how to be a man, but I'm gonna teach him how to love. I'm gonna teach him how to show love, give love, help his family, help, be a man in a different type of way versus things that I can't show you, as far as to like, I know how to change a tire, but like change oil on a car or something, things like that, I can't do. So with that being said, like, I'm just glad to this day now, my dad is like trying. I can see the difference in him. He'll call and video chat my kids, and even though he wasn't a dad like grown up to me, because he was in and out. He never showed me like what real love from a man is or things like that. But now he tries with my kids, and I appreciate that a lot because I never thought I would see my parent that at this point how he is now. I never thought he would be like that. So I'm happy with that.
That's good. That's good. Like, I have my parents. Like, my family is really small. It's really just like I don't talk to extended family like at all. Like all my cousins and stuff, like either on my mom's side or my dad's side, I don't talk to them because they bullied me a lot. Like no matter what I did, it was just never good enough for them. So I just like I don't need that negativity in my life. So I just cut them off. And now it's literally just me, my dad, and my mom, and I don't really talk to my sister like at
Did
all.
they treat you kind of like the black sheep of the family or something?
Yeah, like I would know it. So my dad spoiled me as I was younger, so I think like I had a really shitty attitude as a kid. But I'm like I was a kid. Like I was a kid. I'm not the same person I was when I was like I didn't have the same attitude. I don't have the same attitude I did as a kid. So like how you gonna hold that against me? But like so for instance, like everyone in my family has danced in a club. Like aunts, cousins, like a lot of them have danced. I danced and all of a sudden I'm a whore.
What?
And all of a sudden I'm doing drugs and I'm like they judge me for that. I'm like I'm a single mom.
Like a strip club?
Yeah. Like
you've been a stripper? That's so cool.
I was. Not anymore. I can't hustle. I suck at hustling. I'm not a hustler. So like I can dance. I love dancing and stuff, but like I can't hustle. Like I can't for shit anything. So like I quit that. But like the fact that they judge me like for that, like I'm a single mom. I don't have a consistent babysitter. My baby daddy isn't in the picture, so it's like I can't keep a job. I can't hold a job.
Yeah, because you have to work around their schedule, the kids' schedule, of course.
Yeah, so it was like really hard for me to like. So for me, that would seem like my only option. And instead of them being like understanding of that, they were like, "Oh, well, you could do anything else. Why that? Like, you also could do anything else. Like why?
But you're here in my business.
Yeah, yeah.
Man, when you said dance, I was like, dance like Mexican
Like
music.
they're all dancers. Like what? Like ballet dancers? What kind of dance? And I'm like,
that's cool.
I haven't danced in 3 years, and because I had a pole in my house, so I quit dancing for work like 4 years ago. Quit dancing in my house for myself 3 years ago, and I haven't danced since. I like got fat immediately after that. Like, it was good. It was a good fucking workout. I looked hot.
I can't even climb the pole, girl. I can't even do that. I cannot do it.
It's a good workout
on that.
I'd just be holding on to the pole the whole time. Just
I think with Houston over here being so small, like I could never do that because I'm bound to run into like a family member at one of the girls over here.
I had a cousin.
Oh my god!
A fucking cousin show up to the club, and I was like sitting there with like my little outfit on or whatever, and I saw him, and I was like sitting like facing this way, and he was like the door was that way, and so I was like looking around, like looking. I was just sitting at a table by myself, but like talking to the girls, and I was looking around, like looking for my next person, and I was looking around, and I saw him, and I was like, oh my god! I turned around. And then I was like, and then I had to go up to him. I was like, hey, like, I'm here. You cannot be here right now. Like, don't, like, I'm working.
You gotta go.
Yeah. He fucking stayed. He stayed. And if it was my turn on the stage, he like went somewhere else. But like,
I thought you were gonna say he threw money. Like, he would throw money.
He went somewhere else, and like. but like, I can't walk around comfortably with you here.
God, imagine.
So you had to have the body for it.
Back then I did, not now.
But you said you couldn't hustle, so what you couldn't get the guys or what?
I couldn't.
You
I sucked at like talking to the guys where like I would be like, oh, so like, are you married?
First question.
I know
you're here.
are you married?
Like, what do you do for work, or like stuff like that? And it's just like it shouldn't. You like they're there to get away from their life, you know. They're not there to talk about their life, you know. So you get to like take them out of there and be like compliment, like look how sexy you are, or whatever. And I just couldn't do that because they weren't sexy. Like I can't pretend to flirt with someone. Like I suck at it. So like I had no game or whatever, and it just. Yeah.
And that's a major thing, like learning how to work, because it's basically like sales, you know, like not trying to say you're selling your body, but you're trying to make money. So it's like you have to learn being in like the sales and the customer service and all that industry. You really have to talk and finesse these people.
Yeah. And then like the guys wanted extra stuff, and I wasn't gonna do that. Like I don't want to do that. So that was another reason I left. And I just like eventually, like, and then not only that, like, think about my dad, like, he's not safe. Like, I can't, you know, like, even like how he treated me as a teenager, letting me do things whenever I wanted. The comment about the sexual assault and the way he handled that. Like, whenever he used to watch my kids, like, one time she was 1.5, and my dad was parked in front of my apartment. And he left my kids in his car. He's a hoarder, okay? So his car is a mess. So he left the kids in the car. She was not strapped in. And then he ran back up to my apartment to get the diaper bag or something. And so he goes back up, and the door to his car is open. So she's not strapped in. His car is a mess. The door is open, and he leaves them unattended, right? And I'm like watching this. I'm watching this from my car, and he decides to like leave, and my daughter starts crawling out of the car. Like I see her little feet dangling out of the car. She's getting out of the car, and whenever she gets out of the car, and I'm looking at her, she had a fucking steak knife in her hand. And she had a steak knife.
Oh
my daughter, her at 1 year old. He left her unattended with a steak knife with the door open. If she had fallen, she could have stabbed herself.
Yeah.
And I got mad at him, and he was like, what are you doing? What are you talking? Like, what do you mean? What am I talking? Like, his concern was I was yelling at him and I was being loud. Not that my daughter had a steak knife. Like, why is that your concern? Me being loud is not the issue here.
I hate whenever like they defend themselves versus like, oh my god, I'm sorry, it's an accident. He's like, oh, what? Like I didn't do anything wrong. Like no.
They do when they answer with a question, or they don't even they respond with something else. I hate that.
Yeah, so like that's the kind of stuff like he was like really confused. And I was like, well, I don't understand the issue here. You know, like that's an issue. Like your issue of me yelling at you is not the issue. The issue is that my daughter has like that. And so I would yell at him, and that wasn't even like the worst of it. Like he used to give them candy and like let them stay up all night if I worked late. Like it was just like a forever issue. I was worried about like them being, if they were in the car seat. I was worried like his driving habits,
like their well-being, right?
Yeah, their well-being. And so like that's when I quit dancing, and I started writing because I could work from home. Very reckless. Yeah.
Reckless. And that's the word. That's his word.
Yeah.
Reckless.
Yeah. So like I was like, I have to do something from home because I can't trust him. And even whenever like he comes to visit, I have so much anxiety. One time I was home, and this is recently, there's like a sewer in the like one of those like openings, you know, like in the like outside, you know, like by the sidewalk, by the like curb where it's like a little cutout, like in it, you know, where the little kid is like, what's down there or whatever.
The drain,
yeah. So someone lost a toy down there, and he thought it was gonna be a good idea to put my daughter down there. He put my daughter in the fucking sewer. Yeah, and then he pulled her out, and she scraped her stomach, and she got hurt. And this is like a month ago, probably. And like, what? And I had already told him like the week prior because he had already thought about it, about doing that, and I told him don't do that. Like I don't care, just don't do it. And he still did it. I'm like,
that's so weird.
Like, no, I don't live with him.
I feel like you have to be cautious, you know, because maybe he'll do something like unintentional, and you have to just. It's like having to watch another kid, right?
Yeah. Like I get so much anxiety when I'm around him. Like I'm so grumpy when I'm around him, and like I said, my dog doesn't like him. Like there's something like not
The dogs
okay.
know. What made you like want to get into like what made you like spark your interest with getting more spiritually like involved with your spiritual self? I'm curious.
Okay, well, it's like a crazy backstory, and I like to tell it sometimes I don't, because some people, and a lot of the groups that I'm in, like people are very skeptical of what I do, you know, because it's either you believe it or you don't, you know. So my spiritual is always first. Like I was raised in a Catholic home, Católicos all the way, you know. I baptized, first communion. I didn't do the confirmation or anything. I didn't have a quinceañera either. I was raised like really traditional, but my mom, being a Libra, I don't know what it is, but she has some spiritual connection with the universe. So I don't know if she saw it with me or anything like that, but she always put me around like spiritual people. Like we used to go to temples and like do yoga and read like meet like these gurus and stuff. But I also remember my mom taking me to places like where I seen tarot cards spread out and I didn't know what they were, and I would touch the cards and people would tell me like, oh, that's great, like tell me what the cards were, but I didn't know what they were talking about, you know. And I was little and they were older people. So at 12 years old, I got my first tarot card reading. And everything happened the way it was, the cards folded, how the cards came out. So I believed it from then. I didn't believe it at first. The tarot cards, I'm like, oh, he's going to read the future. But then I saw my future unfold. And then later in my adult life, my issues, and I wanted to find answers. I've gone through therapy. I've talked to people. I write in my journal. I just wanted to find a different connection. I got into these tarot reading groups, and I would see these people pull out cards and ask these questions that you don't ask in the normal world, you know, looking for answers, right? And I posted a thing. I have a tarot deck, and I'll pull a card. I'm practicing. And all these girls wanted a reading, and I was doing them for free at the time. And I didn't realize how draining tarot readings can be and talking to people. So I started getting really drained from it. So I would have like a big list, and taking donations became to, why don't you make a group? Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? Why don't you sell your stuff that you do? I started going live and lighting candles and talking about spirituality and how to get at a certain place, because at the same time I was tapping into my femininity. I didn't know, I was learning how to be a woman at the same time through all my relationships, getting my boyfriends, learning whatever my mom would throw at me at the time, whatever I learned from my dad, whatever I learned from my friends, you know. I'm like, okay, you have to be a certain way to get to a certain level as a woman, you know. So I was tapping into myself, getting to know myself, and with the tarot cards and meditation and kind of disconnecting from the normal of everything, I got into doing that. And a lot of girls follow, they connect with what I say, my path or whatever. I guess I have a good hand at pulling cards. And so I'm not referral based. I post when I post is because I have time to offer. And when I post, like I said, it's my time that I'm offering, but I never go out and say, hey, I see bad energy on you. You know how there's some people come up to you on the street, like,
I've had that happen to me like twice already.
You know, they come up to you, oh, alguien te está echando mal de ojo. tienes de hacer esto, or oh, they say something to you. I'll never, ever, 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 ever go to you and say that. You know, I always, people come to me, I don't look for anybody. I post what I post, and if you want to buy into it, if you want to come to me, I'm right here. If you don't, hey, if you can find it better, if God treats you better, if whatever path treats you better, please go that way. And if you can make it better and you could prove me wrong and whatever, show me so I could go. I never take anyone's path. I'm all for any religion. I'm down for anything. You know, I never take anything to heart.
And with your family, like y'all have a spiritual background as well, like, you know, like my grandma was a bruja. She never taught me nothing, but I seen a lot of stuff she did, you know.
My mom, ella es bruja, pero ella nunca dice que es bruja. Like, she just does things like a bruja, you know, and it just comes out like a bruja, you know, like she naturally does it. And for me, she saw me do it, like, oh, look, I have the tarot cards, and look, I have a following, and she's kind of pushed me to, hey, why don't you make it your own, since you're good at it? Because I've done caregiving. I've taken care of, I used to do 24-hour caregiving, taking care of like rich elderly people. And I liked it, but it took a lot of time. And I worked in offices, working customer service, doing title loans. I worked at banks. I've done everything, and I always come back to the tarot readings. They always call to me. My people, my following always looks for me. So I was actually working at a hotel. Not gonna lie, like as a housekeeper, I hated it, and they fired me technically. And when they fired me, I like ran out of my job, like, like, I'm fucking out of here. I hate this fucking place. I'm never coming back. You guys did me a favor, and I went back. Everyone in my group, if you guys, I'll add it. You guys, they all tell me like, no, be with us. Like, we'll support you. We'll do whatever it takes. So I started my Etsy. I'm on all these platforms, just posting what I post. No. I'm gonna be depressed and I'm gonna look pretty. And if I'm gonna be crying, I'm gonna look pretty crying. I'm gonna be, with my makeup on, you know.
Right.
And usually when my mom always said, like, when you feel your worst, you should look your best. And like when in my deepest depression that I was in a few years ago, I used to do my makeup every single fucking day, and like I'd go to work and people would always be like, "Were you so happy and smiling?" And like literally every night I would like cry myself to sleep. I'm
not saying fake it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying fake it. Like, oh, look pretty every day, and you know, like come home and cry, or no, I'm not saying like you're faking it or whatever, but like, you know, look good. You know, you have to look good for yourself, you know. And then also too, you know, like you never know who's gonna knock at your door. You never know who you're gonna run into. I'm not even gonna say you could get caught. You could have a good opportunity waiting for you, and you didn't even look the part.
Yeah. To look presentable. Yeah.
Dance right by you. You know,
it could be a job. It could be like a lot of people used to tell me like, oh, you're single, like fix yourself because you never know like when you're gonna meet your soulmate type of thing. Like, you know, don't you want to look your best?
Also,
and like,
you got kids, kind of. And you got kids, you know, and like I'm not gonna say like I'm not gonna look all hot girl all summer, but when I'm out with my kids, like I want my kids to know, to see their mother presentable, that they're not gonna see, or they run into their friends, oh look at that girl look at the mom like all raggedy. I'll look raggedy, my kids will look better than me, but at the same time when we're out, we're all looking good. I'm not gonna look raggedy. I'm not gonna put myself down and have my kids like, no. So I try to look my best so we could all feel good, you know. One thing I learned from one particular girl I used to follow on Facebook that became a really good friend, she would say like, it like when you go on a plane or whatever, they say put your seatbelt on first. When you go on the ride, you put your seatbelt on first, you know. When the oxygen thing falls, you put your mask on first, you know. So you got to be ready. If you don't feel good, if the mom does not feel good, if you feel like shit, if you're depressed, you're not going to be able to take care of your kids. You're not going to be able to do anything for them. You're going to be resentful towards your kids if you don't feel good about yourself. If you don't have, you have to look good. You don't have to do any of that. But whatever it is that makes you feel good, and if you don't feel good, you're gonna feel like shit taking care of your kids.
I was just say, do you think it goes back to like how you said you're getting in touch with your woman side now? So like you feel now more like I want to be more like girly, like fix my hair, do my makeup. Because I think I went through that point in my life as well, from being like just straight tomboy, basketball shorts, no makeup, wouldn't even carry a purse, like nothing until now. Like I feel like I want to be presentable looking, wear my lipstick, have my blush on, stuff like that.
I try to be presentable, but also too in my past, I was doing everything for my boyfriends. I was trying to be the relationship girl. I was trying to do I was the Eve. There's the Eve and then there's a Lilith. The Eve is submissive towards the man. He'll do whatever it is for the man, because that's what God wants, whatever. Sorry, guys, if we're talking about religion. And then the Lilith is the more dominant one, the one that wants to be in control. And Eve didn't like Adam didn't like Eve, because she wanted to ride him or whatever. She wanted to be on top of him. And I'm not saying like it's bad to like do what your man says if you're in a relationship or whatever, but you have to like separate yourself. Like the man is always going to do what he wants to do. At the end of the day, they always do what they want to do. If they're gonna go with their friends or my job, my family, my mom, whatever they got going on, they're always gonna do what they got going on. And you know what we tend to do? We tend to follow. We tend to wait. We tend to, they're gonna do them while we wait for them, or I'm gonna hope that they come. I did a lot of that.
So thank you guys for listening to this Freaks podcast. It's really great for y'all to like get to meet Erika and Mercedes. Tune in for next week. Next week we're gonna like really dive into a topic. We'll pick a topic and we're really gonna dive in. If you have any suggestions or anything like that, go ahead and send us a message on our Facebook page or on our Instagram. If you want to follow us on Instagram, it's at the Mental Moms Podcast, and then we also have YouTube. And we have our Facebook page at the Mental Moms. But yeah, it's really great to get to meet Erika and Mercedes. If y'all want to say anything, go ahead.
Well, hopefully, a lot of moms or single parents, even dads, if they relate, will join in and start, putting their 2 cents in and joining the conversation and definitely following us. Hopefully we get to reach a lot of people because like us 3 have a lot in common. Maybe we have a lot in common with other women as well. So, I'm looking forward to everything, looking forward to the next topic and diving into a specific topic. Like, I love the vibe, love the conversation. I love that we all can talk and we are so different, yet we have so much in common. So I'm looking forward to it. Definitely.
Thanks everybody for listening. I hope you guys all tapped in and you guys all resonated with something that was talked about here, and hopefully, and I know you guys are going to be following us, so add your friends, your family, your haters, and let them know that we're here. And we're going to be here on all platforms, so stay tuned. And whatever topics that you guys think we should talk about, we're here. We're all for the fun, and we're all here to listen, and we're all here to learn. So I hope you guys enjoyed what we had to say. I hope you guys like what I had to say and where I'm coming from. So I hope you guys, and I know you guys will be following us. So I'm hoping to see all you guys next week. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.